Right guys, we are now moving on to the layering, and for this we are going to blend one color with another. So I'm going to start off with a lighter color out the two, and because this is a bit tricky, as a warm and cool tones, we'll start with the warm tones first. So I'm going to go ahead, do the same technique by pressing our pencil color down, using a lot of pressure just on the tip. Hold your pencil close. And this one's really easy, so what you need to do is just practice making the circular motion. Better going soft than too dark, because you can always build your tones darker, but it's very hard to reverse once you've gone and pressed your colors in. So all I'm going to do now, there's a bit of color seeping through that I don't really like, but we're going to ignore that. That's just because there's a bit of purple on that. So I'm just going to go ahead and blend it, but this time when I do blend it all the way down, I need to get very, very light midway, so no whites left. I need to get very light midway, and that's approximately midway. Then I need to go a little bit further, so I'm going to make it very light and go a little bit further, and make sure there's no white gaps in between, and that's it. I'm just now going to go ahead and press that color down a little bit more, and as I do the other color as well on the other side, sorry, I'm just going to go ahead and press it down, just so there's a variety of tones that I'm working with, not just dark and light, this medium, there's a range of medium that you're working with. So once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead, just make sure you're nice and neat, don't be scruffy. Now there is a huge line, we'll ignore that, that's just because a bit of purple has kind of gone into my pencil colour, and that will happen. And if you ignore that, you've actually got some nice tones underneath, and that's the pink. So we'll ignore it for now, it's okay, that does happen. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the blue on the opposite side. So I'm going to get that blue, press it in, hold it close, press it in, and then just fade it out. But I need to get very, very light. As I get light, I will overlap midway and press it down a little bit further as well. So the purpose is that you get to the middle, but your pencil brush is nice and light. Move around, move your paper around if you need to, and just make sure that the corners are blocked off with the color that you originated on. So this is blue. Just make sure it's nice and blue, and you do press it down. Don't go too hard. Always make sure that you're softly merging the two colors together. Otherwise there will be harsh lines, and we don't want that. Because we're working with color pencils, it's a little bit different. They are much softer, but there is a technique that you need to keep in mind, and that's just making sure that you start off light and you build it slow. But the tonal gradient that you demonstrated here, dark, medium and light, the range of tones that you've created here is the same technique that you need on this section as well, especially when you're blending two colors together. I'm going to switch now and go back to my pink and block out my pink, and then go lighter and lighter, get very light as the colors start to merge together. And then you should be left with a blend of the two colors together. I'm just going to brighten that up so you guys can have a proper look. Now if I look carefully, there's a lot of gaps in between, and that's fine, that's normal. All I'm going to do for that is just make sure I lightly, don't go anywhere past that halfway and that little bit point onwards, because the color does seep through. So all I now need to do is block out the color that needs to be blue, and I'm just going to lightly take that blue, very, very lightly, not harsh at all, just take a little bit in as well. You can start pressing that blue down ever so slightly, and you should start to get a color that is a mixture of the blue and pink. And that's pretty nice, pretty good. I'm going to do the same thing now on this little section below. So let's start off and let's do it the same way. I'm going to go and press my blue in. And as I'm doing it, there's two ways to do this. You don't have to overlap the color so much. We can do it so it actually stops by midway. It gets really, really light. So it doesn't matter how you layer. I'm going to layer like this. You see what's happening? I'm making it dark and I want it light here. Now I'm going to go ahead and press that blue down slightly, just so that there's no blotchiness in between the colors, between the tones. I don't want it to be blotchy tones. So I'm going to use that circular motion and blend it as much as possible. And I'm going to stop. This is, and then I'm going to use the pink. Sorry guys about the lights turning on and off. It is magic. We're just going to ignore that. Now, if you've noticed, I'm just going to bring this a little bit closer. If you noticed where I've got that blue covering and where I haven't got it covering, is that this little section is white. And it's white on purpose as well. I've deliberately done that. Is because I want to fill that section with the pink. I can go softly and just start spiraling out very, very lightly. And again, I'm just experimenting with the blending of colors. So I'm not going to go too far, but I am going to press it down as much as possible, softly and lightly, to merge the two colors together. Ignore the light. Now you don't have to do what I'm doing. I'm just going to finish this off so you guys can see how it looks. So as I've done a light layer, I'm going to go back in and just kind of make that little bit darker. I'm going to make it darker and get it blending out this way, blending out this way, blending out this way, and in all directions, just so it's spiraling out, because we're working with a really a very curvature shape. So we've got a nice sphere here. So as I'm doing that, just going to blend it out as much as possible, lightly and softly, so there's a mixture of color. You can start to see the two colors mixing together. Now you don't have to do this at all. You can instead do the blue and pink and just have it coming together like that as well. This was just a different way of showing, and if you want to, this is a higher technique to do. This technique, if you're able to do it, easily gets you a 7 or an 8. If you demonstrate this, and you're able to demonstrate this into your David Hockney, then you're able to hit those higher grades. And we want to try to attempt that anyway. But look how I'm working very, very softly. Ignore the lights, guys. Sorry about that. You can see how it's merging. Now, we're done with our layering for now, and there's other colors that you can work with. You can definitely work with blue and purple, and with those two colors, because they're similar and more cool, you can get a lot of the colors will start to blend immediately. Because blue and pink don't really blend all that well together, they do look blotchy, but you can still allow them to blend. So that's why I've used those two colors to show you just how much you can blend the colors together. But if you're more comfortable, you can use pinks and oranges. You can use red and orange. It's a really two good combination. You can use dark pink with light pink. Use dark orange with light orange. It's whatever you like. So you got all those options. So yeah, that's layering done. That's tonal shading done. That's rendering done, and your layering is now done as well.